I think thus is the beginning of this grand adventure. Welcome, everybody, to the podcast. I am the Making Magic podcast of that. I'm really, really stoked about this conversation because we're going to be talking about comedy. We're going to be talking about humor. We're going to be talking about alternative ways to market your stuff to the world. So with me today is Ryan Powell from the Harmon Brothers. He's a writer, video editor. He's a creative director, and he has a fondness for homemade Oreos. And he has never, got it, everybody. He's never attempted the art of belly dancing.
And I need that to be very clear. Well, I won't say why, but yeah, I hope that's understood.
So Ryan's bio is way too humble. So I'm just going to toot his horn for a second here because we at Majik Media and Majik Kids, we just spent, I think since about February working with you, Ryan, on 30 comedy commercials. We actually wrote about 50, but only 30 have been produced so far. And we worked with you and your team at Harmon Brothers, and we produced 30 comedy ads for our Majik Kids App launch that we feel very, very proud of. And working with you was an incredibly creative process. It was a great learning experience for my team and I, and it was just a lot of fun to get to meet every week and write funny sketches. So there's a lot I want to talk about the creative process. I also want to talk about the overall philosophy and perspective of using comedy as a vehicle to share your message, as a way to market your products or your services out there, and how people can, who may not necessarily feel like they have a funny bone, how can they tap into that and share their message in a positive and uplifting, humorous way. So those are the few things that I want to talk about. Is there anything you want to add to that you're excited to talk about today?
Oh, I mean, I feel like that's going to take us into some really fun territories. So yeah, that sounds great to me.
And for those of you out there who have never heard of the Harmon Brothers, chances are you have heard of the Harmon Brothers. This is their website here. They have brought to you some of the funniest commercials you've probably ever seen, from Squatty Potty to Poo Pourri. You can see so many of their amazing videos on their YouTube channel. We're going to take a look at this video right here in just a moment. And yeah, if you're interested in making comedy commercials, then go check out harmonbrothers.com. I know I did a 14-day script writing course that you offer Harmon University, which was a lot of fun. And that kind of set me on this journey of reaching out to you guys and be like, okay, let's do something magical together. And that is exactly what we did. So I think to just kick things off, we're going to start the show by showing two different ads. One of them is one Ryan worked on, and the other one is one Ryan worked on with us and Majik Kids. So this will be a few minutes. If you're listening to the podcast version of this right now, then just listen for the scripting. That's one of the most important pieces of writing and producing comedy is the script, it's the messaging, and then everything else follows that. So if you're listening to this as a podcast, then just open your ears and listen, and then go check out the YouTube videos later on or watch the recording of this. So let's begin. Share my sound. Enjoy this hilarious comedy commercial.
As the smoothest man alive, I cannot be contained in a bathroom. Ha-ha! With the Pitbull by Skull Shaver, the world can be your bathroom. You can shave while you're on your way to the big meeting. Sales are up! Or while you paint a picture of your beautiful wife.
It's perfect!
Not you are! Or while you win an underground paint fight. Surprise! Get a smooth shave anywhere, anytime with Skull Shaver. Damn, that's smooth! Skull Shaver, the power of a smooth, clean shave in the palm of your hand. Skull Shaver is water resistant, so help yourself to a smooth shave in the shower. Or a dry one, anywhere you want. Careful, slippery when smooth.
Oh.
Don't be rough, be smooth with the Pitbull Skull Shaver. How does Skull Shaver stand up to traditional stupid shaving methods? With a barber, you get a good shave, but it costs a lot of money, and he won't shut up about his kids.
I'm just saying, I'm not ugly. So how are they so ugly?
Disposable razors only give you a few shaves, and they often leave you a patchy, bloody mess. Yeah! I help. Other electric shavers have lousy battery life. And also, they give you razor bumps. The Pitbull Skull Shaver has a battery life of 90 minutes. Its blades conform perfectly to your head to ensure no nicks or cuts, and they give you up to 90 shaves. All this in a smoothly shaven head in just 90 seconds. Mwah!
You can do that?
It's the only acceptable time for a man to be done in 90 seconds. And the cleanup? For the razor. It's nice and easy because it catches all the hair without getting everywhere. And it rinses just like that.
And if you're not interested in being a sexy bald beast, Skull Shaver offers a 30-day money-back guarantee with free shipping on returns. Darling?
My love, I sneak away.
Dang, you're smooth. Ladies, the Pitbull Skull Shaver is the perfect gift.
It's perfect! What's the perfection? The Skull Shaver has over 10,000 five-star reviews online. Did it irritate? The closest shave I've ever had. Super easy to clean! So get a Pitbull Skull Shaver today and be like me. A smooth operator who smooths things over while making a smoothie.
Say smooth again.
Smooth.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
More like smooth bumps. Skull Shaver. Be suave. Be smooth. Be shaven.
Oh my gosh, man, that's so fun. Okay,
A to be
here is
outside.
Number 2.
My, what a lovely day here on planet Earth, our very own planet with no alien species. What's on the docket today, fellow humans? You're absolutely right. What a perfect day to be outside on a phone. Zoikers, I sure wish I could do this longer, but I just remembered I need to go do a normal thing. Come in, Mothership.
What have you observed?
Worse than we feared. The human children are prioritizing screen time over nature time.
Initiate Order Majik Kids.
Majik Kids, audio stories, music, and imagination meditations.
And fun activities too! I'm a ninja! Hee-yah! I'm a princess! Whoopee!
I'm an alien from a faraway galaxy here to rescue humans from their screen addictions. Hiya!
You have a great imagination!
Download the Majik Kids app today.
Man, so that was a very fun day. We shot 6 alien invasion videos on that one and brought in the makeup artist, but holy cow, that Skull Shaver one, man. Like, what a blast. It's just punchline after punchline after punchline. Like, that was like 2.5 minutes long. How long would the original script of something like that be that you have to cut it way back?
If I remember right, that script was probably around 3.5 pages. And we shot a bunch more and we cut it out due to pacing. And there were a couple things where like, this isn't extremely additive and it's kind of disrupting this really great fast-paced pace that we've established. So we cut some stuff out, and there's even more stuff that I wanted to cut out, but sometimes like I don't have the final say in everything. Like, you've got to respect the client, you know, and they've got the reasons for things, for wanting certain things, and you've got to respect that. But yeah, like we cut what we could out, and it really came together. Like, we're really happy with it. It's one of the most, I'm very proud of that project, and it was a wild ride, but it is one of the best end products we've come out with. It played during the Super Bowl earlier this year in a few different regions. It didn't go nationally, but it played in I think 5 different markets, like in Los Angeles, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, and one other one that's escaping me at the moment. But it was very well received, extremely successful. Had a blast.
And any idea on like the sort of impact and return that a commercial like that can have for a company and supporting them to grow their business?
Yeah, so we don't have we don't always have access to all of the data. A lot of the clients play that pretty close to the chest, which we understand. We try to get as much information as we can because it helps us know what we did well and maybe what we didn't do so well, and just try to learn and grow from it, and hopefully apply that knowledge to like future campaigns with same clients, because we want to keep, we get a client, we want to keep them, and we want to keep making great stuff for them and help them grow. With these guys, there are some numbers somewhere that we have. I think we've got some behind the scenes videos or something on YouTube that you can find that talk a little bit more about the success of it. But I know that it opened a lot of doors for them. It increased their sales phenomenally, exponentially, and it had a cumulative like 300 plus million views across different platforms. So like if you go to that link on YouTube, I think that one has around 22 million views at this time, but we had different variations of it on Facebook, YouTube, all the different platforms. And I think at one point last year, like 3 months after it launched, it had over 300 million views, like people. And if you go and what's just as important, if not more important, is like the quality of those views and how people are receiving it. And if you go on that link in particular on YouTube, you go through the comments and they're overwhelmingly positive. People are just like, wow, they say stuff like this over and over, like, wow, I can't believe I watched that whole commercial. Wow, like I have a full head of hair and that makes me want to go bald. Like
that's what I was thinking. Like I gotta go shave the mohawk off.
Well, and it's so flattering. I love to hear that. That's exactly what we were going for. So and I know it opened doors. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say.
Yeah.
So it opened doors like in the movie industry and stuff for them. So yeah, it's really exciting. So
that's really neat.
I wish I had more numbers, but
that's okay. That's
I know
okay.
It did well.
They're locked up in a vault in some top secret location, but we will find that location one day.
And it did well enough for them to want to. They edited the 30-second version out of it, and they played it during the Super Bowl in those regions that I mentioned. And so,
wow.
So yeah, it did really well.
That's so fun.
And we got a lot of awards for it, actually.
Good. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well deserved.
Thank you. Yeah, it felt really good.
And where does the creative process begin? So a company comes to you like, here's our product. This is what it does. This is the benefits. This is who we serve. Mm-hmm. Where do you go from there? Where you like go expansive and big to like start bringing it down to that character that you guys designed there?
Yeah. So it depends on where the company's at, right? Like if they're a big company, if they're a smaller company, what their budget's at, like how much creative they've actually done. So a lot of times we'll do a creative audit on people. So it's like, okay, what sort of creative assets do you already have? What sort of videos have you already made? What success have you seen there? We find out all sorts of information like that. And we make recommendations based on that and where they're at as a company, where we think they should start. And a lot of times that is on a smaller scale so that we can test different messaging out.
Yeah.
And
which is what we did with you guys. We came to you and we're like, we're just starting out. The app isn't even live. This is what we've come with. And instead of doing one of those like 2 to 3 minute long videos, the advice was, let's do a whole bunch of shorts, just like under 60 seconds. Let's do a whole bunch and get the messaging right, figure out what comedy is resonating with the audience. So
absolutely. Yeah. And then because that will inform how you want to proceed once you get to the point where you want to spend more money, which will give you a bigger reach, which will kind of brand you in a more distinct way. So like Skull Shaver, for example, they had a pretty good idea of who they were and who they wanted to reach when they came to us. And so right off the bat, we did that bigger campaign. And so where we started with them was we have this form, this document that we call a brain dump, and it's full of questions just asking about them, asking about the product that we're focusing on. And it gets into the nitty gritty. They go fill it out, and this helps us understand it to the best we can, and that will inform how we write for it. And then what we'll do, and this is one of the most fun parts, is we'll get a bunch of writers and we'll say, okay, this is the brain dump for this product. I need you to go, and there's different ways that we go about it. It just depends on the creative director that's over the project. But we have the writers go and they write their own scripts for it. and then they present those scripts at a writing retreat, which is super fun. We have the client come out. We get like a big cabin over in like Park City or in Sundance or something like that. And then we have this like 2-day retreat, and the writers will pitch their different scripts, and we'll talk about them amongst ourselves and with the client and say, hey, like which one, which direction do you like the best? We'll pick a script, and then we'll take that script and we'll say, okay, now how do we need to refine this script even further? And even maybe take some aspects of the other scripts and infuse them into this script if they fit. Because always guaranteed, when like we have the most amazing writers, and when you go out there to these writing retreats and they're pitching these scripts, your mind's just gonna be blown. The clients are always so excited when they're hearing this stuff. It's like they're seeing their brand, their company, their product come to life in a new way that's so imaginative, so creative, and not only that, but it's going to be it's selling the product really effectively. And so yeah, we'll figure out how to proceed after figuring out what the backbone is going to be, which script is going to be the backbone, and we spend a couple days refining it with them, and it's just a blast. And after that, we'll take it to production, we'll go shoot it, then we'll edit it, and then you got yourself a campaign. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I'll dig into a few different layers there. I was amazed at the experience that we had of, our scripts would typically, we would go through the ideation phase. We all kind of picked scripts that we felt most drawn to. We'd write a first draft, and then we would bring those to our writing sessions with you. And those scripts would sometimes be 3, 4, 5 minutes long. We had to get them down to 60 seconds. And that process of whittling away, by the time we went through our 30 commercials and we watched them together as a team one by one, we couldn't even remember who wrote what. Like there was no longer this, like, that was my idea. Yeah. It was just like, it became everybody's baby that we all ushered along to try and create the best possible script and vision for it that we possibly could, which was really, really exciting to do as a team. It was an amazing teamwork building process.
And that's a really healthy, I think, environment that you've cultivated. Like you've hired the right people who are not egomaniacs, and they're not necessarily precious about their ideas. So if you're saying, oh, we can't do that, they're not going to freak out, and everybody's very supportive of one another, and you guys are truly a team. So that's a really, really good sign.
I'm so grateful. I couldn't work with egomaniacs. They'd be fired so fast.
Yeah.
And from the time of like working with a client, like a project like that, going through the script writing, taking it to production, mapping it out, what was the time span for that video?
That's a great question. So I believe we like kicked off with them in December 2021, and then we had maybe it was January. Okay, I think it was January. It's a little tricky for me because I came in, there was a different creative director over the project, and then they had to leave.
Yeah. And
I took over, and I believe it's sort of kicked off in January, and then we delivered everything in May.
Cool.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Wow. That's super impressive.
Because we shot in March for a few days at the very beginning of March. Yeah. So I think that's right. Yeah.
And did you guys build a set for most of it, or did you use green screen for a lot of it?
Zero green screen. We did, well, I won't say zero green screen. There's a couple product shots where we have an OLED TV with a background behind it.
Yeah.
That we, uploaded. But other than that, but generally no green screens.
Wow.
We shot in a mansion. We shot in a large studio where we built several of the sets.
Yeah.
Where I'm spacing
That's
on
so
it.
cool.
A barbershop. Shot in a barbershop, which is super fun. I love the aesthetic of so many barbershops, and that's down in Provo, Utah, that one. And there were a handful that just had so much character, and it was tough to pick.
Yeah.
But that one was that one ended up winning out. So super fun. I loved it.
And the actor you guys got was just like, how
Oh,
couldn't have found a
man.
better guy.
Oh man, I cannot even begin to tell you how fortunate we are finding him. So his name is Ryan Marsico, and he is one of the most talented human beings I've ever met. And we were going through the audition process, nationwide casting call, and we found a few people that were like, okay, maybe they could work, and then this dude was referred to us by one of the writers. He wasn't even on our radar, and he self-taped. He did a self-recording because he hadn't seen like his agent or anybody tell him about this. And he sent us a recording through his friend, through our mutual friend, and we saw it and we're like, whoa. He did like this whole elaborate thing to show how coordinated he was and how smooth he could pull everything off while delivering jokes and, you know, sales copy and everything. And we're just like, I don't think we're gonna beat that. Let's try. And then no one came even close to that as we kept looking. And
Wow.
it was, he's our guy. Like,
wow.
No doubt. And when we worked with him, he's the sweetest, most professional guy I've ever worked with. I just love him so much. So, and he's hilarious on top of all that.
And did he already have this shaved head and the mustache?
Yeah, that's his look.
Wow, good look.
I saw him a couple months ago. He came out here and performed this improv routine, and he had the same look. And he's over. Actually, there's the strike, but he was working at Universal Studios doing a regular performance there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so super fun.
Now, let's dig into the thing that I know everybody is going to be wondering, thinking about. This is the nagging thing in the back of everybody's head. This like, listen, it's like, yeah, comedy sounds really fun. I get it. This could help spread the word. I could really reach a lot of new people because it'd be interesting and fun and creative. But people don't want to, we live in a sensitive world right now, and people don't want to offend people. How do you deal with that, like, deep-seated fear of like, oh, I don't want to offend my audience and all that sort of stuff? Because I'm sure you hear this a lot from people that come to you interested to work with Harmon Brothers.
Yeah. So there's a lot of validity to that, and to being you definitely first I'll start off by saying you definitely want to be as aware as you can be, and then make your decisions very intentionally. But I think that but there's no way around making everybody happy and standing out, right? And that's not to say like, let's try to be offensive, let's try to be vulgar, let's try to shock. It's like, no, but just try to come up with something that fits your brand, that fits your, like, try to figure out who your audience is if you don't already know it. And you know, play to them, and be true to who your brand is. And just know that someone's always going to be upset. And that's okay. And in fact, sometimes it's really good, because then it can stir up more conversation, you know, whether it be, you know, online, primarily. But yeah, we've seen a lot of people, we've seen like we'll go through our comments on our videos from time to time, and then there'll be like great comment, like positive, really negative, positive. And it's like, and a lot of times those negative comments are gonna just feel like they're coming out of left field, or like, or just, it's like, why are you upset about that thing? I don't know. So like, there's always going to be somebody that's offended or mad about what you've done. And we see clients a lot of times sort of, not everybody, but sometimes we'll see clients say like, they're trying to avoid that at all costs. Like, they don't want to upset anybody. And when we've done that, it's felt like it's hindered the comedy, it's hindered the quality of the product, it's made it less memorable.
Yeah.
And when we've said, hey, let's just do what's right for this product, what's right for your brand, we feel like it's really helped. For example, the other one of my other favorite campaigns I've been able to work on is for Keto Chow. And we've done several campaigns for them, and the last one had Little Red Riding Hood as the spokesperson. But at the beginning, she's not so little. because she walks around with a bag of like a picnic basket full of carbs.
Yeah.
And you know, keto and keto products are often like people seek them out for weight loss.
Yeah.
And when we presented that script, there was a lot of not everybody, and to the client's credit, they went forward with it and it saw great success. So I'm not dogging on them at all.
Yeah.
There were people that heard it that are not even from that company, and they were like saying, "Ooh, I don't know if you should do that. I don't know if you should do that." You know, even internal people, I'll say. And we're like, we get it, but you know what? What is this product for? Of course, it's not just for weight loss, but that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And you know, and so we don't, yeah, and so we went forward with it, massive success. Sure, there's probably people mad about it. I don't remember who was. I don't remember any comments saying that they were mad about it, because that wasn't the focus. The focus was like, we're trying to get people healthy. We weren't making fun of overweight people. No,
yeah.
we're trying to provide people an alternative or a method to get healthy and you know, have a better life.
It was a great commercial too. I did see that one. Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, it seems so many people this goes to people that are trying to be an influencer, share their message or teach online. People are so afraid to just stand grounded in their beliefs. And if we stand grounded in our beliefs in a way that is authentic and genuine to us, or in this case, genuine to the brand's personality that you're trying to portray and bring out into the world, it really does help people to identify as your people or not your people. And if they're not your people, they probably were never going to be your people. But by the brand or you just standing grounded, rooted in what you believe is true or what you believe is right, that's going to help that sorting hat really identify those people who will become your raving fans, because there's such resonance and connection and values alignment there.
That's exactly right. It helps you find your true audience, your tribe and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I appreciate you talking about the offensive thing. And I think, you know, you guys could do a whole masterclass on like how to do that, because you do it in a way. And I know with Majik Kids, we probably have 5 or 6 of our comedy ads that are definitely on like the edgy side of humor relating to kids and families and screen addictions and that sort of thing. But what we've tried to do, and I see what Harmon Brothers does so well, is like, it's edgy, but it maintains its innocence. So it's not jarring. It's not shocking. It doesn't feel like it's cutting me wide open and making me bleed. It's just like, oh, wow, you went there. And you're telling the truth. I mean, any great stand-up comedian is like, they just tell the truth, but they do it in a way that doesn't, it helps to lighten the load of truth. Yeah. And the way that you've done your sketches it's like that. I mean, like your Squatty Potty commercial with the unicorn that poops out rainbows. It's like, you're talking about a poop stool that helps you to clear out your colon better. And you could have done it in such a disgusting way. And yet you did it with like rainbow swirling ice cream poops with this hilarious talking unicorn. And it was just like, it was so tastefully done that it tastefully, wonderfully done. It's just, you know, that is the beautiful thing about like the way that you present comedy at Harmon Brothers that is different than most advertising people are used to. And when we know we're being marketed to, and the thing that Harmon Brothers does well and that we're trying to model with Majik Kids is like, yes, we're marketing to you, but we're also entertaining you, and you want to watch our marketing videos, you know, because there's a story inside of it, and it's going to make you laugh. It's going to make you smile. And one of the things that I think is like, if you make somebody laugh until they cry, then they're going to be way more likely to pull out their wallet and buy.
Oh yeah. Like if like comedy helps people like you.
Yeah.
You know, like you even see that in characters in TV and movie. It's like, if they're funny, there's a good chance people are going to like them more, even if they're even if their morals aren't great necessarily, like comedy has a profound effect on how we perceive people.
Absolutely. So let's just pretend somebody's like leaning into this conversation and they're now like, okay, you've got me interested. I want to make a short, under 60-second comedy video. If you were to like give them some advice on how to get started in that creative process, what thoughts would you have for them to take away from this to start applying so that they could make some traction and actually make something that they feel excited to make?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. That's a tough question. What I would say to them, well, first of all, whatever they're wanting it to be about, like, know what it's about first. Like the comedy comes as important as it comes secondary. So know whatever you're talking, know what your video, your script is going to be about, and really understand it. And then from there, when you're writing comedy, to punch it up, to make it more memorable, make sure that the jokes are surprising, but try to make jokes that are surprising but fitting. And what I mean by that is, like, make sure that they're relating to what you're talking about, and then they're not like, out of left field, like really random. I would strongly suggest not going for random too much if you can help it. Just make sure that they relate really well.
And one of the things that I enjoyed with the Majik Kids process was just coming up with like relatable, everyday problems that our audience would have. Like, what are they facing? What are the challenges? What are the pain points? And then how could we exaggerate those in a humorous way? And some of those were great. Like, some of them was like just around that alien one. We didn't know we were going to do alien sketches. And then all of a sudden we started brainstorming ideas around like, how do we deal with the screen addictions? And man, we had a conversation. I think it was like, imagine aliens came down to planet Earth and they started paying attention to what humans are doing. And they're watching me like, these are the most boring creatures ever. They're just sitting there staring at these flat little devices in their hand all the time. And so then we wrote a whole series around the aliens. We also came up with some of the more edgy ones. We came up with this evil villain, Klush Schnob. And so it's like, oh, he's trying to steal children's imaginations from them. And so we wrote a whole series of Klush Schnob videos. Another series was like all the boring parents that have no imaginations, they've forgotten how to play. So we created a series around like Play University, where the kid is the teacher reminding parents how to play again. Like, it's such a fun creative process to like, just, we know what our customers struggle with, we know what they're looking for, what their problems are, and how do we exaggerate that truth and create spoofy characters out of them and scenarios that can be relatable to the audience.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many, like, the more and more here's another thing I would say that you reminded me of. Being able to work with the team.
Yeah.
As we're, that was probably one of the keys to coming up with so many varied concepts. And something that I like to do is, I'm fortunate enough to have found several people with whom I can really easily work with like with them, I'm working in a safe space to throw out ideas, good and bad, and I won't be judged by them, and I'll be able to throw them something, they'll be able to throw it back, and we'll be able to generate stuff that's better than what we would have come up with on our own. Yeah. So I try not to work in a vacuum too often, because I think a lot of my creativity comes is pulled out when I'm working with the right people. And so, yeah, back to like working with you guys, like, it was a safe space. Everybody's just like joking around with each other in a positive way that has to do with, trying to come up with something that's going to be effective and memorable, as far as marketing Majik Kids.
Yeah. And some of the scripts weren't that great in the first draft. They were like, oh, there's some pieces in here. There's like some threads of brilliance, and we're just gonna have to keep scrubbing it and talking around it. Like some of them we talked around a whole bunch, and then finally it's like, oh, there it is. And some of them, it's like, oh, there's actually 3 different scripts in this one, and we had to go away and like flesh out 3 different videos for them.
Yeah,
Which was
yeah,
really
exactly.
fun.
Yeah, yeah. We would surprise ourselves a lot, right? Like we'd be working on one and be like, "Oh, you could do it this way," and it's like, "Oh, I think that's a totally new script."
And there's other things that people can think about is like, what era is your video being is it taking place in? Like, who are the characters? What year is it? What are their interests? What is the the genre? What costumes could you imagine? Others that I know you guys have done is like spoofing off different fairy tales, like the Little Red Riding one is there's so many different stories that people recognize that we can draw from, and it'll create this like instant interest in it. I know that's why our Beyond the Wall story has been our bestseller with Majik Kids, is it's an untold story. It's a backstory of something that everybody's so familiar with, so they want to lean in and be like, oh yeah, what is the backstory of Humpty Dumpty? Who is this egg?
Yeah, and that's a really fun story. I listened to that one and I really liked it.
Thank you very much. One day we will make a movie about it.
That would be amazing.
That will be great. You're hired for the writing team. Congratulations.
It's that easy.
Yeah, you start at 2 p.m. today. Oh my gosh, it's 2:16. You're late.
Oh, I'm behind.
Where's the script? Ryan, this is such a delight to connect in this way and just talk comedy for people. Are there any final thoughts you'd want to leave people with if they're on the fence about, do I make a comedy video or do I not make a comedy video?
Like in the context of like for their brand, for their product.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for like, there are some cases where it's not fitting, right? So like, we've done stuff with that's, I don't want to get political, but we have a video we did years ago that's for a company called Save the Storks, and it's providing people with it's providing pregnant women with resources, and that one, you couldn't really do it comedically, right? It's a very tender topic, very sensitive. But if you have something that's, that's not a sensitive topic like that necessarily, I think by all means you should lean into comedy more. It's going to make you a lot more memorable. You're going to, people are going to like you more. There's something about funny people that makes you kind of trust them a little more.
Yeah.
And you just have more fun doing it, honestly.
Yeah. And
like, yeah.
Thank you. And I was just going to add, like, for people out there, you can bring your audience into the creative process and let them know that you're playing around, you're trying this new angle. Like a lot of the people I know listening to this, they're teaching, coaching, building courses, online communities, memberships, etc. Like, you have an audience, you're an active content creator, you can let folks know you got inspired, you're writing this commercial, and if people like it, you'll do more. And just like, let your audience tell you what they think, and invite them into the creative process a little more. That we don't have to be, the Harmon Brothers, you guys do this as your living. It's expected. Your comedy commercials are going to be awesome. But for everybody else out there, there's such a beautiful learning curve. And I know for me, I never thought that marketing would be one of my favorite parts of being an entrepreneur. But when we're writing and producing comedy, it's definitely in my top 2 or 3 things that I want to be doing on a day-to-day basis, is writing and producing comedy with my crew. It's so much fun.
For sure. And there's one other thing I will add, as far as the benefits of comedy makes things more digestible.
Yeah.
So not only is it going to be more memorable, hopefully, but it's going to be, people are going to understand it more.
I just remembered a quote I saw yesterday, which I'm totally going to get wrong, but I'm going to give you the estimation of what I read. And it was something along the lines of it takes doing something 300 to 400 times before you've fully learned how to do that skill. But if you're doing it through play, it's 10 to 20 times.
Wow.
And which is insane when you think about that. Like, you think about how much time is wasted at school sitting in those desks and memorizing things, and how much more effective and fun it would be if schools integrated more play into how they teach. But the same thing goes with remembering is if people are laughing and enjoying themselves while they're watching your commercial, chances are they're going to remember your brand a lot more when they're looking for a product like yours.
Yeah. People quote comedy movies a lot more than they quote any other type of movie, right?
True story. Ryan, thank you so much. Where should people go check out? You got any links you want to share? Are you on any of the socials? Do you have a website, or do you want to send people to Harmon Brothers? Where can they go?
I myself am fairly private. You can look me up on LinkedIn. I don't even know what my handle is. I need to get more active on there. But let me see if I.
While he's looking for his handle, I would highly encourage y'all go check out the Harmon Brothers. They do have a great podcast called Poop to Gold. Or no, is it still Poop to Gold, or did you guys change the name of the podcast?
It's actually changed. Man, I'm on that podcast. You'd think I know what it's called.
Raising Unicorns.
Raising
I got
Unicorns.
it. That's it. It used to be Poop to Gold. It's now Raising Unicorns. Go check it out. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of amazing tips and information and ideas around doing exactly what we've been talking about today.
Yeah. And then if you want to find me on LinkedIn, just look for Ryan Powell, who works at Harmon Brothers, and I'll be there.
Amazing. Ryan, thank you so much for all the support you've given us at Majik Kids. I can't wait for those ads to be rolling out for people to check them out. Make sure you're following, all of you that want to see our comedy campaign. Follow Majik Kids on Insta, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts, and you'll be able to see them when they start rolling out. And if any of you want to be supported through the creative process to write and produce your very first comedy ad, go to magicmedia.com/comedy. I'm leading a 5-week training on writing and producing a comedy ad. There'll be lots of writing support and ideation support inside the community space and on the live sessions. And it's going to be a lot of fun. This will be the most fun you've had marketing in a very, 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 very long time, if ever. So look forward to seeing you there. And thanks for tuning in.